Har Har Bole Namah Shivaya. 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 Hi, Janet. Hi, everybody. Good morning. This is Dr. Rao, and I thought I will do our weekend webinar on this Sunday, like a satsang, association of good people for exploration of truth. That's what they were really doing that, right? So hopefully that is something palatable for you, and you will be enjoying this session if you follow along and go into the deep exploration yourself or ask questions that are related to that. As you know, I am a internal medicine physician, practices more than 4 decades in USA. Now retired from the clinical life, but I am CEO and Chief Wellness Officer of a association called Be a Pal, where my activities are to help people to deal with burnout and stress and also improve themselves and get a better leadership in their organization. So, in a sense, improve the individual, enhance the individual, and also enhance the organizations and the society. I am for wellness. I proactively practice wellness measures and I share them with people and ask them whether they are doing it. One of the wellness measures in ancient India was this association of good people gathering together and exploring some aspect of our life. It could be weather, it could be raising crops, or it could be raising a family, or all those things were there. But then they wanted to know what is the real truth about things. Okay, they were going after the fundamental existential issues. Okay, so it's a kind of important to understand. This is something we all come to. We may be initially as children, we are brought up by the parents and we were given education. We kind of get into some kind of craft, which really helps us to earn a livelihood. But then there was what is the meaning of all the life? Is this all? Is this what they made up to be, like a American dream, making it materialistically and then enjoying the few pleasures all the time? Or do human beings have a purpose? Do the life has a purpose? What does it make sense of? Those are the existential questions that they explored quite well. And in the process, they discovered they can turn inward and discover all the answers right there, not according to some conditioning or some kind of programming, but according to what's going on in their life, actual practicality as they happen in our life. So people may come and ask me, why should we have law and order in the society? Why can't everybody be honest and then we don't need any law and order? But the question is, not everybody is law abiding. Not everybody is really not needing any laws. So there is an animal instinct, there is a nature, and that comes out. So they wanted to find out why some people are honest, some people aren't, like that. There are existential questions that they explored. Okay, the fundamental thing is it all outward life? Is it all just to feed our bodies and then entertain ourselves and then sleep? Or do we pause and say, I want to find out? Because some people ask those questions, we were going deeper and deeper into our inner nature and found out there is peace and there is a lot of, uh, you know, what do you say, more like unalloyed happiness, joy, bliss, Um, but then there's a life, what's called dukkha, that is sorrow. So from sorrow to you can go all the way into the somebody called me. Okay, audio is low. So I have improved that, Pedro. I hope that is better. Yeah, I improved the volume as much as I could. So these are all important questions that they dealt with. And like a scientist finds out the earth is round, then what happens? Then we all come to realize it is so. Just because we did not put our mind into it, it seems like that, right? So always understand that only few people really have insights into the reality as it is, and then they break through our preconceived notions about things, right? Like everybody was thinking that we are all living on a flat surface and the earth is not round, but then somebody discovered that. So then what happened? The people are able to really help themselves to understand. And then from there, they were looking at the world totally differently, right? That's how things happen. So understanding this need for exploration, and some people really getting onto that exploration started this kind of so they were not interested in regular gossip, they were not interested in mundane affairs of the life, they were wanting to know deeper issues of life. Obviously this is not like a few years or few days practice, this is like a uh, you know, it's a practice that happened thousands of years. Out of that, we have scientific, non-scientific perceptions of the truth and came. So you should have at least one day in the week, I believe, is to pause, reflect, and ask deep questions. Thereby, you are really, you know, having an idea about what's going on in the world, how it is related to you, and how it affects your life. Okay, you don't have to be selfish about it, but at least if you want to find out for the other people, like for example, I see a patient with a rare disease, then I want to understand, I want to find out, I want to investigate. Maybe there's nobody seen that, maybe there is no data that is available, then I have to go and find the answer for myself, right? Like that, what are the things that we are assuming and what are the things that are not so? Because suppose you say, I will make a lot of money, I will have a lot of cruises, I have a lot of buildings, and then I'll be happy. You are sadly mistaken. You would not be. Okay, then you will go and say, what else is there that can give me happiness? In that process, the people who turned inward and then turned their mind on their own mind and the conclusions that they had, they were able to really figure out the life lessons, the life truths in the process of inner exploration. These satsangs are a uh, inspiration for that activity. So you want to not accept everything as it is, but you want to really find out the truth of the matter, and you want to investigate it. You want to find out then about like that. What is a human being made internally? Is that all muscles and bones and outward body only, or the mind that is going on outwardly, or is the mind can be turned inward and find out ourselves better? Okay, you see what I'm saying? So that's a practice that they had. So uh, let's say our life, How many times are you stopping and say, what am I doing in my life? What are my activities? How am I related to other people and the earth? How I am able to enjoy life and also give enjoyment, or am I giving sorrow and grief to other people? You have to stop and reflect on that, right? And then you'll be able to improve your inner personality and also outer behavior and work conditions and all that. Okay, so remember that. Okay, that is the inner reflection that is actually a need of the human beings to improve themselves. Suppose you are always lying habitually, and you say white lies are okay, they're convenient for me, and eventually it will catch up with you, and you'll realize truth is the best way, and then always speak the truth. That kind of understanding they had, and they formulated so many systems and methods to be truthful, integrated, harmonious in the society. So all that is the worth of the satsangs, association of people who are gathered to find out these kind of truths, not information, not news, not somebody else's family life or whatever gossip they do. No, it's kind of fundamental questions of human life, existence, and what problems we have and how can we. For example, they said if you turn inward and find out the true happiness that is unalloyed and the true peace itself, then you don't have to get that happiness and peace outwardly. That looks outrageous to a lot of people, but if you really look at it, that is so. Then what you do, you kind of make it a practice of sitting down, calming all the chatter that's coming into your mind, and then turn one question and stay with that question and go deeper and deeper into yourself, whereby you discover, yeah, there is a truth, there is a happiness, there is a peace inside of me. Why don't I really be on that and then see what it is? Then you will discover unalloyed happiness, peace, and joy. So this kind of things happen in the satsangs. Okay, so not only yours but also problems of society, problems of the world, they were investigated, and not this propaganda, but really internal investigation has to be done by each human being and validate the truths for themselves. Whereas outward things, like I want to grow good crop of rice, I want to have a tasty rice, I want to have a healthy rice, you will work on the conditions that are required for growing a healthy rice, right? So that's all okay. That's all the scientific perspective, technological perspective. But if you take the human being, human beings are not peaceful. Human beings are fighting wars all the time. Human beings are not happy. They don't have a happy, harmonious relationship on the wrong way. Uh, Divorce, separation, and fighting, all that happens. So there are few joys in life, but they are forgetting the joys are really inside. Once you calm your mind, be desireless, be giving, and really enjoy your inner being, then you are in the bliss, right? So this is what the satsang is all about, and what the inner exploration is all about. These gatherings are not like a teacher and the student, but more like a let us explore these things together. You can get a couple of friends of yours and sit down and take a not a political, not a controversial issue, but about what is the truth about life. What are the things? Why are we needing things all the time? Is that a habit, or do we really need it? Then you will understand the accumulation of all this consumer culture and the problems with it, and the problems we are causing to the earth. So that kind of thing. So, what do you say? Anybody has anything to tell me about this? What do you think about this? Do you want to explore, or do you want to just listen? you know. So, when you are exploring these kind of things, you will have questions, you will have doubts, you will have kind of your own struggle with these things, or maybe you have come to a point where you kind of realize certain things and you're mature about it, and then you don't want to waste your time gossiping, you don't waste your time just like that, but you will find out things that will naturally enhance your life and empower you with more tools within. So you're not going to be agitated for small things. You are not going to be uh, irritated with people, thereby wasting your energy and all. So you can be peaceful, happy, joyous inside. That comes out. That comes out in the form of service. That comes out in the form of giving. That comes out in the form of kindness and compassion to other people. That comes out volunteer working for good causes of the society that needs needed. So there's a lot. This inner transformation also, discovering your inner divinity, and that becomes very highly spiritual too, and then discovering the same divinity in everybody else. Okay, so everybody has the spark of life, right? So that is what is going on. Okay. Okay, so uh, that is the way it is going to be, and so you can gather few people and enter this kind of questions, and then see, are they speaking from their conditioning training or from their own inner experience. That's important. A lot of gurus, a lot of teachers exploit the people who come to them, because the students depend too much on the teacher and want to really say whatever the word they say is value or not. No, the ancient practice of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana means listen to what is being said by anybody, okay? And don't take it for granted, or don't trash it down. Then Manana, reflect on it, think about it, go deep into it and find out the truth of the matter. Sometimes people are so set in their own ways in their mind, they don't want to listen to anything, and they want to operate like that throughout the life, right? No, when you listen to something, listen completely, and afterwards engage in the reflection and meditation of that truth and understanding that, right? Then finally you kind of apply that, allow it to happen into your life. Are you doing that? So if you are doing that, very good. If you are not doing that, just see, am I too quick on my conclusions that I don't want anybody to really say anything to me, and I'll go whatever I want. And obviously, society doesn't work like that, right? So, what are the universal laws, principles that are not going to hurt other people, other animals, and plants, but then enhance the life? Then you'll really live a life that is fulfilling, that is useful, that is contributing to other people's life also. So this kind of satsangs give you an opportunity for you to reflect on your own conclusions, your own philosophies, your own judgments, and your own behaviors and all that. If you suppose you are very egotistical and you want to undermine everybody that comes under your contact, you want to say, I know better, I would to tell you, listen to that. That is a bossy attitude that producing a lot of stress in the corporations. So what I tell them is, look at this. This is like a service that you can give it to other people, right? So why don't you give yourself with the service of whatever you are doing without expecting anything, and see how that feels. That's the servant leadership. That's pretty good. Hello? Okay. I think there's a mistake. Somebody stepped in by mistake, So understand the exploration of the truth of any matter is not a property of any particular culture or particular tribe or particular country, right? Humanity has evolved in so many ways, and we have such big tools to live a very integrated, harmonious life. Why are we not able to do that? That's the one you want to always understand. Um, Going to the work, making some money, coming home and having some pleasures and going to sleep all the time, not really putting our mind to work to understand things around us, they understand the changing technology, understanding this changing geopolitics, and all that is very important, right? For that, this attitude of reflection and thinking deep is very important. So I think this is a good role of the satsang which has evolved, and it used to be practiced without anybody saying, "I'm so and so, I need to do this, I'm doing this." So it's not transactional; it is transformational inward, right? So business meeting where you go, you want to sell your dues, and then you want to tell everybody what you do and what they observe. That's all fine at that level. But this is a little bit about that. It's not just for getting something. It's not about really giving something either. It's about participating in the investigation of fundamental issues of life. Okay, understand that. Then you will be very happy that you gathered with the gathering, and then at least you started to think what's going on here. So that kind of investigation is not a purview of anybody. Nobody need to set up a agenda about how it has to go. No, it has to be spontaneous. It has to be from the intelligence of people. So in the satsang, what happens is there is a venue. There are people who are calling for that, but then they are not leaders. They're just arrangers of the meeting, and the whoever came don't have to introduce themselves, don't have to tell what they do for the living, but they were participating as a human being, not as a role, not as a degree, not as a authority, but more like a student that is going to investigate the existential issues of life. So that is, anybody has any comment or anything you want to contribute to? What do you think about this kind of activity? Do you do that? And if you are doing that, let me know how you are doing it. And I have done that in Chicago, where I was there in from 81 to, I was there till uh, 90, right? So I used to go to a place where my friend David Macmillan, I really don't know what he was doing also, but they arranged some talks by noted philosophers, teachers, and all that, that are not religious, but that they are pursuing truth like this. So those people are enlightened beings, talks, and all that on issues of things. Suppose somebody has jealousy. Suppose somebody has angry. Suppose somebody is sad about some things and all. How do you work through all of that? So I used to go there on a Saturday afternoon. It was a long drive. My friend used to take me there, and once a month we used to go there. And all the people gathered there only focused on the topic and the discussion on the topic after the talk, but nobody introduced themselves, what they are doing, why, none of that, so that it doesn't turn out to be a business meeting, but more like a meeting of really exploring our existential issues that are prevalent for everybody. All human beings go through that. Women go through a lot of suffering because man wants to dominate. Is that right? Or is that something that you want to be awake just because you're a man? You don't want to take advantage of that. But you would rather say humans are men and women, and if you are injustice to the women, you are doing injustice to all humanity. That kind of thing. Then you will go into the problems and explore that, and then really go from there. Okay. So, anybody has anything to say? Janet, you want to come up? And I'm sure she's reflective like that on so many things. Anybody, if you have a question or a comment, or what do you think about this? Um, are you exploring? Are you understanding what I'm talking about? What means satsang? If you have questions about that, you can come up. I invited you to get a couple of friends and do the satsang for you. You can do that too. My thing is, our happiness, joy, bliss, peace, everything is inside. So go, what is this turning inside? Why I'm not able to do it? Why I'm thinking all the time outwardly? And what is this uh, bliss conscious being and all that, So you want to investigate by yourself. You can take the word for it, but then don't trust anybody's word. Then you'll start to investigate these matters deeply by yourself. And the validation of these truths have to come from within you, not from somebody else is saying something. You got to investigate, you got to find out, and you got to validate it by yourself. That is the difficulty of spirituality. We easily follow somebody's book or somebody's writing and all that. Even then, if you read some book, you cannot just say, oh, this is what it is, I'm going to follow. No, no, you want to think about it, you want to understand it, and then you want to bring it into your life, right? So, very important to be quiet and to be able to really investigate like that. That's a kind of art that is lost on a lot of people. That's why people are falling for this propaganda. People on the social media, they promise so many things, but then they, if you really take the real level on politicians, but other people also, they may say so many things outwardly, but in actual truth, do they live the truth or not? Only they will know, right? So I may say so many things to you, but only I am implementing or not, I know that. And from that, what happens? I will validate the truth. And if I want to deceive myself, I may say something and I may do something else, right? But this reflection is about honestly facing ourselves, understanding the human condition, understanding the human liability, understanding what is the potential of the real human being. And you don't have to be negative qualities like, yeah, I'm just being human, that's why I'm doing it. No, you have a much deeper version of the human that can do much better than what we are doing right now, right? So there are 17 people here on Mumbai, So if anybody has any question or doubt or comment, come up and get involved, get exploring, and tell us the truth about what you found, and um, then other people may also contribute. That way, you are opening up your mind. You are opening up your own inner enthusiasm and inquiry, and that's actually what's important. Remember what Socrates said? Socrates said, all I know is I don't know. And from that, even ancient Indian philosophy said that too. I don't know, let me find out. That is the perspective they came to this satsangs and then anything. So they falsely believe this all belief system. No, a lot of people may be in the belief system, and then they just don't want to think, they want to follow the authorities and all that. No, but this is about like a scientist about your own inner nature. your own inner aspects of things. That's why we have so much technology, so much outward development was there. But if you take the inward development of the human being, they are equally fearful, anxious, confused, and they are really um, perturbed by simple things, and they lose their cool and mental stability with the small provocations, and they fight with each other. They don't get along with each other. So many wars going on all the time, so much violence is going on, and so little enjoyment of life, right? And lost connection with the nature, and destroying the nature with our forever consumerism. And so they don't value simple life and all that, right? So this inward disorder, inward confusion that's going on in the human beings, mainly because we are always focusing on the outward development, not the development of inner self. You know, I am kind of convinced that inner development is very important, and you have to spend time and money on that. Then you will be. What if you have everything, but you are terribly depressed? What if you have everything, all the facilities, all the comforts of life, all the things that at the beck and call, but in your heart of heart, in your then you have jealousy, you have rage, you have angry about other people of family and all. Oh, what does it do? You know, how is the life then? So having the inner peace, having the inner contentment, having the inner joy and happiness and peace, I think that is really possible for the human being, and that's what we should strive for. And this kind of gathering should be exploring those truths. Okay. I know this is not really uh, uh, popular in the current culture around the world, not just in America, around the world. People want to listen to some music, fine, but these people want to just uh, say only the positive things about them, and think good about that. But if the real sorrow comes, they don't know how to go from the sorrow to the real happiness. That is possible. That is what the human beings are capable of. Okay, even in the presence of difficulties in the outward circumstances, they can be quiet, peaceful, and happy and joyful. Okay. So how this started with me was I was introduced to some of the inward things by Gandhi. He died by the time I was born, but by the time I was introduced to him, it was in the eighth grade or something. Um, Later on, as I understood him, many people thought Gandhi was a social reformer, which he was. Many people thought he's a freedom fighter, which he was. So many people thought he was like a humanitarian. That is true. But Gandhi himself said, I play all those roles, but that's not me. I'm doing them, but I want to find out who am I, and be spiritual and find God. That's my mission. That's what I'm trying to do. So I want to study the ancient wisdom books so that they can tell me what they were doing. So he did not read Bhagavad Gita late into your house. See, because that's not introduced to everybody in Indian households, even though that's such a valuable and tremendous truths are there. So a lot of people don't study them as in school or in the house and all. Some people may have that, but they are so reverential to the book, they worship the book, but not employing those truths in the book, right? So he went to, I think he was in South Africa, but also he went to Europe for some reason. And then he was asked by one person who is very effective, oratory, and impressive to Gandhi. And that man said, uh, did you read Bhagavad Gita? I think Gandhi was 29 at the time. Gandhi said, no, I did not read. Then that person scolded Gandhi and said, no, go and read that. Affectionately, maybe. So he comes back and tries to read it, understand it, and then he's blown away. And then said, how come this is not available to a common man? To a common man that he, in his language, in his style, that he could understand this. Then he was able to write a book, Bhagavad Gita for the common man. Go and read it if you want. All the truths, all the lessons of the Bhagavad Gita are kept in a available to a common man. A common man doesn't mean just a low in socioeconomic status. A person who is not into this kind of thinking, into this kind of reflection, all that, okay, not interested in the philosophical discussion, they say, oh, that bores me. No. They are looking for entertainment, not for enlightenment. But Gandhi was looking for enlightenment, and then he felt that was needed for everybody so that they can have this inner resilience with which they can come to the life and face the life much better. Okay, we are only worried about how to be well, how to really live well, but the clue is, what do you find out about yourself? What is your understanding about yourself, your relationship to the world, to the earth, to everything? And that kind of intelligence is only given to the human beings. So don't waste your uh, time and energy in frivolous things. So however much money you made and you're hoarding it, that is frivolous, silly, unnecessary, and wasting the time. But a lot of people kind of make that, oh, I have to make this much money by this date, and then they go for it. And they lose valuable time in between. Okay. So that may be my own prejudice is that I want to go inward and find out who I am and then be happy and peaceful. But you can question that. You can investigate that. You can see the people who have made a lot of money, how are they? Uh, uh, Rockefeller, there was a story about him. And the first John Rockefeller, when he came and he made a lot of money and built a lot of cars and all that, right? Um, but he was restless. He was unhappy because he was not liked by anybody at work because he bullied them, he forced them, he make them do work and then make their working there miserable, right? Um, so he was touched by that. You can sense it, right? That nobody likes you, and nobody they want to engage in a friendly way with you and all that. People build their own stress around themselves by being stressful to other people, right? His was the case like that. He had a lot of money, but he has no peace and no meaning, no purpose in life. He comes to Vivekananda, who was visiting United States at the time, late 1800s, 1894 or something. And Vivekananda was given a house, so he was in the interior room. And there were some people guarding the house gates and all that, right? But the Rockefeller comes and says, I'm such a big shot, all these people are nothing. So he bulldozes them, he sweep them aside and goes barging into Vivekananda's room where he's privately reading something. And he goes there and then he kind of talks to him and then he says he's not happy. And then Vivekananda says, oh, you have money, but you are not happy. So why don't you give the money away? At least some of it. Let's see what you feel. So Rockefeller goes out, not convinced completely, but then he kind of helps a few families with the money that he has, as being charitable. And then he feels very good about it, right? And then, but he wants everybody who received money from him, give him a receipt that they have received so much money. and they give them the receipts. So he carries all the receipts and comes back to Vivekananda and throws him on his face and says, "Are you happy now? I can give all this much money. Then you should be thankful to me." Vivekananda says, "What are you talking about? You are miserable that you came. I told you to give the money away. You gave the money and you're feeling better. And now you are asking me to thankful to you. You should be thanking me because I showed you a way to be happy." And Rockefeller realized that. And you know what came out of that? Rockefeller Foundation. First foundation. And the foundations came after that. And now you see, a lot of people, Bill Gates, the other day I saw this advertisement that he's going to give 99% of his wealth by 2040. All the wealth, everything, So it is in giving, you get a lot of happiness, not in acquiring, getting. How did this truth came about? How much research went into that? How much experiential knowledge is there? That's all because of this kind of satsangs or individual investigations. Many of the time, people investigate something, scientific or not, then they bring it to for the welfare of the whole world. Basically, all these people who wish for welfare of the entire world, they are, they produce that, right? So, for the human being, the fulfillment is inside. Once he is fulfilled inside, then he can go and serve the world and give it away whatever he has. Okay. So we are here 41 minutes. If somebody wants to steps up and ask me some questions, that will be nice. Or tell me your experience in this, what I'm saying. Okay. That would be nice. My friend Janet is coming up. Okay.
Good, Ralph.
Hi, Janet. How are you?
I am okay. How are you?
I am good. Did you read the book I sent you?
I have read part of it. I'm not finished with it yet.
Okay. How does it feel?
Yeah, I like the thing you sent me too about the drink.
Yeah.
I don't know what some of that stuff is, but I can sure try to find it.
Yeah.
The reason I came up is in this political climate,
Yeah.
I am struggling at times to ignore it. And
Yeah.
there's a part of me that believes that I'm not supposed to ignore it. I'm supposed to stand up and be heard.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the things that are happening. I don't like that children are going to go without food.
Yeah.
And here and around the world, I think that we're the richest country in the world, and we should help.
Yeah.
So I'm really having a difficult time swallowing that pill.
Yeah.
And I go and, I tell myself that I need to live in the present moment and be aware of what's going on around me and not, obsess over this. I'm going to have to get off of Facebook, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much for me.
You should get the news not from the social media, from the reputed sources. I go to the public channel, public broadcasting service, PBS, and they're very balanced, and they are not like one particular political party, and they get the real horses who are producing the news and then interview them. So we kind of get to know what's the perspective of an Israeli prime minister, for example. We don't agree with them, but what he was talking about, like that, So it's obvious part of our humanity is really subject to, famine. When you see all those kids with no skin or only skin, no muscle, and only bones, your heart, I weep. I kind of feel very sad for them, because not only they are losing their physical health. Even if they eat a little bit later, there are permanent damage to his neurological system. So whole generation is kind of wiped out their potential and all that. And then it's continuing, and it's on the potential of major famine. Who will not really feel bad about it when we see it? It is understanding the human condition of producing this kind of affairs. Why do you think only for certain people have the right to protect themselves, and then because they are powerful, they can impose this on other human beings? There is no sense of we are all one human tribe. If you have that, how can you be so cruel to the other persons? So you see that, then why it is happening is majority of the people are supporting this attitude that somebody came and did the terrorist activity on somebody, and then this somebody has the right to wipe out the entire generation. That's not right. They may give, oh, we have to survive, but then what are you doing? See, there was a old saying I remember. This king kind of exerting his authority and is killing everybody, and then one of his sons gets killed, and then he weeps like anything. Then he says, why? Your blood is blood, our blood is water. Is that why that is the attitude ever since human beings were there? Tremendous violence, tremendous bloodthirsty and all that. That is the inner core that we have to really establish. Otherwise, these wars will go on like that. Once you understand the fundamental reason of the war, because we think we are separate from other people, but actually we are all human beings, only one tribe.
Yes.
Some people may be powerful, some people may have not much money and all that. But essentially, everybody is a human being. Uh, it seems many people are not thinking like that. That's again inner understanding, inner thinking. Now, how do you do with this, tremendous suffering that's presented to us, and we feel bad about it? We cannot do anything about it. Understanding itself is important, Janet. If you want to come up, you can come up again. So it's the understanding that liberates your own heart and mind from the suffering, but rather do something about it, and maybe send some donations, maybe help people to understand this better, or bring your own awareness to the problem, and maybe work towards prevention of all wars. It is not going to happen unless people are really into that. So what is happening with my mind as I see the news articles? I see every day evening, right? So I see all this. They covered that very well. They were showing people from the UN that took the food there, but then Israel does not allow them to distribute that. The UN charter, yeah. See, that's what was happening, because they were saying, "Oh, the Hamas is taking the food now," but then meanwhile, these people are getting killed, millions of them. This is one of the biggest human tragedies we are seeing. Now, when I see that, I know the human condition, I know the human mind, and these rages and wars and all that. Do I allow my mind to be reactive, or do I respond with some kind of kind action or understanding and helping other people to understand? That is the action I could do. That's the action I could protest in self-righteous, like, I'm not going to allow this kind of thing just to say, oh, they're okay, they can do just because you are powerful. I don't, right? So it's a question of how you observe your own mind's reaction to the tragedy, and don't allow it to go into turmoil or mental turmoil, but assert what you can do in your power. And that's how I keep myself balanced, but at the same time, I don't approve it, but I do go and act whatever I can do. Does that make sense, Janet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a question of observation of our own thought. Obviously, we are reacting. We are kind of getting angry or getting really sad that other people are suffering like that. But then that's the mental reaction, and don't let that overwhelm you. But that can lead to positive action by you for the people who are suffering, right? Because Gandhi said right in the beginning, uh, I am going to be standing in protest of the British injustice, but I'm not going to hate them because British are my brothers. That is the concept that they had, is the entire human tribe is one. We are like brothers and sisters or one family and all that. And but if you are erring, if you are really acting injustice, I'm going to stand in protest for that, for the thing you are doing, for the injustice that you're committing and all that. But really not hate you because you are mistaken. You are misunderstanding the situation and doing the stuff, in a very limited way. So you are standing for the bad things that are happening, and then really protest and then make sure that it stops. But your inner mental atmosphere is calm and peace, not with hatred, not with anger and all that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that word?
Carry on.
Yeah, remember that word we have, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, in ancient wisdom. That means the entire living beings, including humans, animals, plants, are one family. That harmony is lost, then we are damaging the Mother Earth like anything. So this tendency that we are separate from other people is really making people fight with each other, because there is a division, you and me, ours and yours, and that division makes us fight with each other and promote these wars continuously.
That's true. I made a mistake and posted something on
Yeah.
a page, and I got the most hateful,
Yeah.
disgusting messages back, and I just all I did was state my opinion,
Yeah.
and just because we have a different opinion doesn't mean we have to hate each other.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because people want to really exert their own opinion without realizing they are not realizing the crux of the problem, you know, and they want to just be approved for whatever they think. And if you don't agree with them, they don't think you are their friend or you're part of the family.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I don't. Yeah, we don't have to enter into an argument like that. See, that is the difference between argument and the truth seeking. Argument, they assert their egoic conclusions. But actual truth seeking, you go for the truth beyond your mind and beyond your ego, and then accept it as the truth. And then the truth becomes the authority, not the authority becomes the truth. These people having the social kind of, status or political status, whatever, they think they know the truth, and they are going to exert their ego on other people, and we have to accept. We don't have to accept. Truth is the only authority, and not the authority has their truth. They have their version, but that's not way with truth, you know. So, so that's how you observe the human condition, and keep yourself calm and quiet first of all, but caring and compassionate. But at the same time, carve out a way how you can help the situation, how can resolve the suffering, that kind of thing. Okay. Thanks for bringing up that, Janet. And I hope you will have more peace with this kind of understanding now. Try that. So understand the fundamental reasons why the wars are happening. Understand how we could emotionally react and then lose our energy and everything, or we can convert that to positivity of compassion, kindness, contribution to the people who are suffering, and also the person who is enforcing the suffering. They need help too. Otherwise, eventually, it will catch up with them and does that. You know. By the way, Ramana Maharshi was approached one time and said, that was Hitler time, I think. Hitler was marching, and then they had a lot of uh, countries are bowing to, and he's marching through the countries, right? Then people in India got worried and said, "What is this man seems to be such evil philosophy, and he's overthrowing everybody." And they went to him and they said, "Listen, there is a creator who created our world, and he will take care of his life." And what happened? You know, Hitler came down, but the problem is our humane brothers don't understand, don't learn the lesson from that historical experience. That's why wars happen again and again, because we never learn from the history. We say we never learn, and then we change our inner nature to be inclusive of everybody, to be compassionate to everybody, to be really standing up for the injustice without hating them. That kind of things, if you could do it, then look at Nelson Mandela, because he kind of adopted the Gandhian principle of resisting, but without hating the white people. The civil war was avoided. Millions of people were not killed. Okay, so that's the value when there are people who are leaders, especially they understand this, and then they see. I am kind of psychologically free from this social structure because I don't want to be part of that kind of social structure where they demand conformity with their evil philosophy. I don't do that. I'm kind of psychologically separate from this. It's called there are four spiritual practices that you do before you act up spiritually. The first one is realizing what is true, what is not true, what is permanent, what is not permanent, what is real, and what is not real. This is called a discretion, viveka in Sanskrit. Right? Once you have seen what is real, your inner nature, your Atman, that is real, your body, mind are not real. Then you develop what is not real, and you develop a dispassion for that. That's called vairagya. Lot of meditation is not working in the West to the way it is supposed to, because people may do temporary relief, but they can never find this inner happiness, because meditation, they have to do practice, and also they have to practice this dispassion to things. But people are using these spiritual truths and everything to improve the inner self, and immediately want to do business with it. So they don't develop this dispassion to the material things. Okay, so you have to have that dispassion. Then there are six practices put together into a third category, where you get your mind settled, calm, and your senses withdrawn, and you're always into the spiritual inquiry, spiritual practices, right? Being kind, being serving people, being helpful and loving to other people, those kind of spiritual values, right? They are not really do that. And the fourth thing is you got to have an intense curiosity about the spiritual matters. Otherwise, you will not learn. You will listen to somebody and they will do their propaganda. So what you want to do is you have to have intense curiosity. You have to make your body, mind, and senses calm. Then you develop this passion. Then you really coming from the discussion of what is whatever. So first realize what is real. Then develop the dispassion for non-real, and then settle down your mind and senses and engage in spiritual activity with intense curiosity about spiritual matters. That it could be like, what the heck is this satsang? Why the hell it is there? Why should I do this? That kind of inquiry, intense inquiry. It's not a casual inquiry. You have intense inquiry about materialistic matters, something to do with something, but that's not it. Okay? So we're almost 1 hour into this. And anybody else wants to come and contribute or ask me a question, you are more than welcome to come up. Otherwise, I will take leave and I'll spend my Sunday in a joyous experience with my family and with the stuff I do. Okay. Thank you, Janet, for coming up and contributing like usually. So I don't see the other people who come regularly. Melissa, Brent, Peter, and see, this is expected. Not many people are interested in these kind of things. That's why if you do other rooms where all sorts of superficial things they're discussing compared to what is deep within you, um, 500, 600 people are there. And the app is also promoting however much, how many people are coming. Just for what? What are you going to accomplish after that? Maybe some simple things that you should be knowing. You may be knowing a little bit, but this is deep, hard, and personal, right? So hopefully this will inspire you to do the. You can do it with your husband or with your wife. You can do it with children. You can gather together and say, pose a question and say, let's explore that. Don't have personal opinion, but just don't bring the egos here, but just explore that. And that would be a wonderful lesson for the kids too. Okay, to think about current affairs, to think about what's happening out there in the world, all that. So thanks, Janet, for bringing a relevant topic personally here. And people are really going through the suffering along with the people who are suffering, right? These people who watch it, obviously, I suffer when I see the TV pictures of these kids are malnourished and then they are dying and they don't have food to eat. People go for water and they get killed there. So how can you justify that in a humanistic way? So it is sad, but if you let your sadness overwhelm you, you will not be able to function. Even metabolically, you get affected. That's why observe whatever thoughts that come and don't be in the thoughts, be in the real inner self. For me, the guidance from Ramana Maharshi is one's attention has always to be poised on one's inner self, big S, right? So remember that. Hopefully, you will meditate on that and see the value of that. Thank you, and I'll see you again whenever I have time. Thank you.